So I want to talk about self-awareness. I've been around so many people that just aren't self-aware. Like they'll say things and everyone's looking around like, did they actually say that? So I worked with a couple of guys and there was one guy who dislikes this other guy so much. And I found it hilarious because they were basically carbon copies of one another. Like he would get so mad because one guy, or they both would do this, but one guy would always act like he he knew someone who did it better. He did it better, and the other guy would get so mad, but he always did the same thing. So I've always thought it was very funny how people are so just unaware of themselves, and I kind of think, and I know when I've been unaware of myself, it's because I've had issues and I didn't want to focus on them, so I focus on others instead of myself. So it's really easy to focus on someone else's problems and tell them how they're supposed to do it and what they're supposed to do in life. That's easy. But reflecting on your own problems and your own issues, that can be much more difficult. And so people don't do it. And maybe some people they're aware, but they just choose not to. Like there's a saying in the Bible that before I remove the speck from your eye, I should remove the plank from mine. So I am very much focused on what I can control myself. I can't control other people, their actions, their thoughts, what they want to do, what they're going to do. I just focus on me, making myself better, or just sometimes not sucking so much. Not even necessarily better, just not quite as sucky. And so I've noticed young men want to hug all the time now. And I guess this is a self awareness thing. Like, why do young men want to hug so much? And not like, I remember in high school, all these guys would want to hug girls. Like a girl that they thought was hot or liked her or whatever, they'd want to hug her. I never understood that. Like, what is that doing? Who cares? Okay, you like her. Why not talk to her, ask her out? Like, why hug? But whatever. So I like the TV show Big Brother. If you don't know it, it's one of the original reality shows after Survivor. I watch that too. That's that's all the reality shows I watch are the two originals. And these men, like they're in their mid 20s and they're hugging each other and rubbing on each other and like caressing each other. Like I'm like, what are you doing? Like I don't hug anyone besides my mom, my sister, and my dad. That's about it. I always shove that hand out so people can shake it. Because why do we need to hug? Like I've never understood that, and why young men are hugging so much. And stop. Why? Shake someone's hand. Look them in the eye. Why are you like putting your head on their shoulder and caressing them? And another thing, like everyone's doing this, but young men, quit crying in front of people. There are reasons to cry. Like if you lose a loved one, like that's significant. But you shouldn't be crying in front of everyone. You should be able to have a little restraint. Like there's very few people that have seen me cry in this world. Like if I said I've never cried over a girl, like breaking up with me or something, I would be lying. But have I cried in front of others? Absolutely not. I no, that's not happening. Yes, you cry from time to time, something touches your heart, but I'm not doing it in front of people. And oh, on Big Brother, there's always at least one young man that does this. I've never cried a day in my life, and the first time I do it's on camera. Like that happens almost every season. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. The very first time you cry in your life, it's in your mid 20s and on camera for something stupid and petty and just dumb. Why don't I believe you? I'm gonna say that's probably a lie. Just more than likely. That's a lie. So I just, why cry? Like, be tough. Like, people are like, oh, I want you to be emotional and show your emotion. Like, it's weakness. You can say whatever you want, but if somebody's crying, I, you have thoughts. You can say whatever you want. When I see an old man with a teeny tiny little dog in his lap while he's driving, I think less of him. Sorry, but I do. Can't help it. Like, what is wrong with you? I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'm a bad person, but I think less of you. I'm just like, what a vagina. Jeez. So, just buck up. When the going gets tough, the tough get going, right? So, when you want to cry, get going. Get tough. So, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. And I saw, so this is another self-awareness thing, but Serena Williams I saw an ad where she's advertising HO or something like that. It's a weight loss drug. And she said that some people say this is shortcut. I say it's science. Can't you say that about a lot of things? Like steroids. Couldn't you say, like, couldn't that be the excuse for everyone that's on performance enhancing drugs? It's not a shortcut. It's science. Like, what a stupid ad. Like, that's so dumb. Does no one have any self-awareness? That's what I'm talking about. Like, I've heard a lot of people talk about smoking cigarettes to lose weight. That's science. Science created cigarettes, right? So I can use cigarettes to lose weight. That's insane to have that thought process. Because we don't know what that stuff does to you yet. We will. It's going to be terrible. I'm sure. It's going to be bad for you. Because putting anything to your body is bad for you, technically. The foods we eat. Because they have stuff in them, it's bad for you. Like, everything is slowly killing you, so I put in extra stuff to kill you a little faster. But I don't know. And I forgot to say something in my last video about Disney. So people have talked about, like, because obviously Disney owns everything, so they own Hulu. And they're going to combine that with Disney Plus. And people are like, why? Why not just keep them separate? They should keep them separate. And I know exactly why they're not keeping them separate. And most people, they talk about the money, they talk about ratings, they want to make Disney Plus look better so you can have original stuff from Hulu. I think you're wrong. I think there's one reason only. And that is to make it easier for children. Young children. I'm not talking like, when people are like, oh, they're a child. Like, they're 19. I'll give you a young adult, but they're not a child. But I'm talking about, like, children, because, like, I watch a young man, and he's 16, and he's much younger, and we'll put on Disney Plus for him, and it's like Mickey Mouse Funhouse, and that kind of stuff. But if you combined Hulu with that child that's very young, that their parent is telling them to stay on Disney Plus, well, if Hulu is with it, their parent can be like, you're on Hulu, get off it, go to Disney Plus, and like be able to monitor it a little bit. But instead, they're going to add everything together so the child has easier access to adult stuff. Again, more Disney being evil. That's why I think they're combining them. Personally. because they want it as easy as possible for children to access adult material. And kids get around stuff. You can put on your parental stuff. When I worked in the middle school, there were several kids that, because they had this thing called Go Guardian, where the teacher could monitor what all the kids had on their Chromebook. And I went by and I'm like, they're not doing what they're supposed to. This teacher's all over it. Like, and I went and looked at the teacher's computer, and I'm like, how did they do that? And they made it look like they were doing their work, but they were actually playing games. So I told the teacher, I'm like, take your laptop and go look at this person's screen. And she's like, oh my gosh. And she was baffled, like, how did they do that? And so multiple kids were able to do that. And so these kids are able to get around stuff. So you need to make it as difficult as possible to get to this adult material. But Disney wants to make it as easy as possible to get to adult material for children. And they're just an evil, evil corporation that I'm sure they don't care that they're losing money on movies, because I'm sure the federal government will say they're too big to fail. We can't let them. They're too big to fail. I don't understand that. How are you too big to fail? If you make bad decisions, lose money, and you fail, how are you too big to fail? You failed. But I'm sure if Disney loses a ton of movies, or ton of money on the movies that they're putting out, which they are, and just keep losing money, they go bankrupt. I'm sure the federal government will just bail them out. I don't think it really matters who's in office, Republican, Democrat. I don't think it matters. They're going to get bailed out because they're too big to fail. So, I don't know exactly what to do against Disney. I don't know how you stop them from trying to warp children's minds. I don't. I wish I had an answer. And I guess this is asking the question so maybe somebody does have an idea. Or maybe 5 people have decent ideas and you put them together and boom, you have an awesome idea. Because I tell people I'm not an idea guy. I am not. I'm a gigantic vat of gasoline. Without a spark, I'm useless. And that's how I feel like I am. I just have to get going. Somebody just give me a little bit and then I'm boom. But original ideas, I'm very hard to get that spark. So again, self-awareness. Hopefully I have it. If not, that sucks.